Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of the Bonsai Pot-cast by Blue Nose Trading. I'm your host, Tori Solis, and today I'm going to be talking with Josh of jas.pots. Josh is a ceramic artist working out of Connecticut. Really great conversation to share with y'all today, so let's dive right into it. Hey there, I'm here with Josh today from jas.pots on Instagram. Hello, Josh.
Hello.
So, Josh, go ahead and give me your elevator speech. Tell me about you and what you do.
So I am a potter. I make bonsai pots primarily. I also make cactus and succulent pots sometimes. But yeah, I went to UConn for pottery and sculpture. Um, but I've been doing pottery for 16 years now. I took my first pottery class in high school when I was a freshman. And pretty much fell in love with it then and there, and have been doing it ever since. But I really started getting, I'd say, like, even though I went to school for it, I started getting serious about it, I'd say, like, when I also fell in love with bonsai and combined the two.
Oh, that's sweet. So, did you learn to throw in high school? Was it like a throwing class?
So that's actually kind of funny. I loved hand building in high school.
Nice.
I didn't really do the wheel like at all. I learned how to, but I like stayed away from it like intentionally.
I was just creeping your Instagram. I was doing a pre-interview creep, and I saw you throwing bonsai pots. So I was like, oh, he throws. Cool, cool. But I've also saw a lot of your sculptural work. You do a lot of really interesting. Do you still do those bigger installations now that you're past your schooling?
Not really, just because I don't have the like access to the facilities to do some of that stuff, and I also just don't have quite the space to store it.
Do
But
you
I
have
was
a kiln big enough?
no, my kiln right now is only 30 inches inside.
Bigger than mine. I think I've got the 822.
Yeah, it's a decent size, but yeah, not for like the scale that I.
Nice. I understand. Yeah, I did some weird stuff in college. I made some. One of the projects I did was this sculptural series of birds, and I did all of Darwin's finches. But
Oh,
now I'm like, what do I do with all these little birds? Like I've got 13, and most of them are just little blackbirds. So it's just like 13
yep.
little black birds, and and they're cold finished, so I can't even stick them outside.
Yeah.
Do you still have those pieces that you made in college and did the installation work with?
Oh, for sure. A lot of it. I was just gonna say I have a ton of boxes of like multiples of stuff, or just like anything that could go outside is outside at my mom's, like in her garden, just like kind of scattered around. So I have that sort of story of it.
That makes sense. Yeah, I wanted to throw my stuff outside too, but it was like cold finished bisque, and I finished it with acrylic, and I was like, ugh,
Oh yeah.
I'm afraid it'll fall apart. So it's just in a box, but maybe I should just let it fall apart and live its
I was
life
gonna
out.
say that
Yeah,
that could be its own
when they
art
start melting out
Yeah,
there.
take pictures of it.
So I was looking through. You do a lot of really nice neutrals, really simple minimalist stuff. I'm really digging it. So where do you find the inspiration for that kind of work?
Uh, that's kind of a hard one to answer.
Mm-hmm.
I really try to draw inspiration from just everything that
Everything.
I'm soaking
That's
in.
exactly how I am, so I definitely understand. It's like an
Yeah,
intuitive thing, right? Like
yeah,
you're not actually writing out a plan, you're just like
right,
you're in flow with the universe and you're just pulling what you're receiving because that's how
exactly.
I work too.
Yeah,
I've talked with a few other people and I'm like there's a spectrum here from technical where someone's going to draw it out with measurements and they're going to make that exact thing to intuitive where I'm like I know how to make clay. Like I know my craft, but when I sit down I'm just kind of like let's see what we do
right.
without many restrictions and that free like there's like restricted and free and it's really interesting to see how everyone creates in a different place on that. But
Yeah,
I definitely am more like you personally where I'm just like there's no plan.
yeah. No,
Well
it's just
there's a loose
like
plan.
yeah. whatever the clay wants to do,
Exactly.
I'm there for the ride.
Yes, I love that too, and I feel like it brings out a lot of your authentic. It's really authentic. It's like your personal style. And when I look at your page and your work, I do see a very distinct pattern of styles.
Oh,
It's
I
very
appreciate that.
so. Did you have any special teachers along the way, or people within the ceramic world that really made a difference and impact for you?
For sure. My high school ceramics teacher was really the one that pushed me and encouraged me to not only just, unlock like my skills and talent, but to further my education by going to college for ceramics. She was really great, and I still keep in touch with her, which is awesome.
That
But
is awesome.
yeah, she went so far as to create like new classes for me to take in high school, just so I could keep doing that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Those high school teachers out there are real heroes. That
Oh,
job is hard. I could never,
some of the
ever.
things she had to put up with were like I felt bad some days. I still
Yeah.
remember like some of the kids in my class just just didn't care. They took it like not seriously. So
I even saw that in college. Like, I'm self-taught, but then I went to college because I was like, I should make sure I'm doing this right. So I went and took like a few ceramics classes just to make sure that like they weren't going to be like, Tori, what are you doing? Like, and it was fine. But there were a lot of people in my class who like they took ceramics one because they thought it was going to be easy. And my
yeah,
professor was awesome, but I like to describe her as a horse lady. You know horse people? You know how they're
hmm
kind of scary, but they're kind, but they have like a zero
there's
tolerance for fools.
yep.
And so anyone who took ceramics because they thought it was going to be easy was very they're wrong. It was
Really, yeah,
it was not easy. Like you get them on the wheel and you're like, all right, here's how you center clay, and you center it because it's just habit now. And then you watch someone centering for the first time, and you're like, this is not easy.
sometimes even frustrating to watch.
Sometimes I can't even center my own clay if I have too much of it on there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's a strength thing, I think, for me. I gotta like start lifting.
Well, it depends on the wetness of the clay too,
Yes,
or
that too. That too, for sure.
uniformity.
Definitely. So do you said you got into more into ceramics when you got into your trees. So what kind of trees do you keep?
I have a whole variety.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot of conifers, but I try to just experiment with a little bit of everything.
Where are you? I don't think
I'm
I.
in Connecticut, down by the
Okay,
water.
okay, Connecticut. I know you
Um,
went to saw the schooling, but I don't know if you're still up there.
yep, yeah, pretty much
Nice,
lived here my whole life.
nice. Conifers are not friends of mine, but hopefully one day we're gonna work it out. I like them, but down here in Texas, I do best with like native dug pieces and
Oh, for sure.
tropicals. They're
Yeah,
the best for me.
I do like tropical too. I have a whole plant room in my house.
Oh, nice. You
Um,
got lights and stuff.
oh yeah, shelves,
Yeah,
lights, all over my house actually. I have multiple setups for plants.
I love that. I'm running out of windows, and soon I'm gonna have to get some lights. But right now
Oh,
I'm building. I have like big windows, so I've built shelves into my windows, and then I
oh,
stack
awesome.
pots in the windows, and like I like collect all this other stuff too. And I try to make it like I think one day I said I'm gonna like make my windows into an I Spy book
Oh,
because it
that's
just
so
has
fun.
so many little like things in them everywhere.
Oh, I
It'd
love
be
those.
but I love all kinds of plants. I think that I
Me
saw
too.
that you were really into that too.
Yep.
One thing for me that is really gratifying as a ceramic artist making plant pots is like when you get that perfect match.
Yes.
Like when the plant and the pot are just like a whole vibe, and like after you pot it up, you like have to come stare at it. You like walk over to that part of your house and look at it a few times that week, and you're like,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
I just can't stop looking at it when it's like you said, when it's just perfect, the perfect match.
yes.
I take
And I
like
love
a million pictures of it. I'm just like
yes,
all angry.
definitely. I love when it's a bonsai tree, and what I love most about bonsai is that it's a long-term relationship with the plant.
Mhm.
And but I also really am into the cactus thing. So I'm like, I gotta get some cactus people on here to talk about their pots sometime and be like, all right, guys, we're taking a sidebar because the cactus world potters are so cool.
Yeah.
Like, so much texture and stuff. Like, they inspire a lot of my work for sure.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. It's a very cool community, and I think there's a very big overlap between the
Hmm.
bonsai potter community and the cactus potter community.
Yeah, they're both very passionate about their plants for
Yeah,
sure.
and just this like both of them, or cactus people and bonsai people, are both trying to represent nature by staging their plants.
Hmm.
So they do kind of go hand in hand.
They are. I see, and what I see is really represented in both of those kinds of artists too is that they're really in tune with the energy of the plant that they're working with. Like
Yes.
it shows through both ways. Like from the bonsai artist, you get everything that trees can give you, from grace to power
Mhm.
to weird for the weird ones. It's me,
Funk.
I'm the weird ones. And and then in the cactus people, there's a lot of that like spiky, raw, like come
Hmm.
at me, bro, energy with all their textures and colors, and it
Yeah.
looks dry. Like all their pots look dehydrated.
Yeah.
Like
Whole mud crab.
cracks. Yes, awesome. So, what do you have a studio in your house, or are you at a public studio?
So my studio is split right now. My
Mm-hmm.
wheel and tons of stuff is at my apartment in my living room. It's kind of taken over.
Gotcha.
Um, but most of my other stuff, like my kiln, is at my mom's in her garage.
Understandable. Yeah, it's hard to convince your landlord to let you put a kiln in.
Yeah, and it's also a little expensive to fire. So
Yeah, that makes sense
don't
too.
blame it.
You said it's a 30 inch, so it's not too bad to fill.
No, not too bad.
Because I thought about getting a big one when I got my new kiln, but I was like, I gotta fill that thing. Like, I
Yeah,
don't want to wait that long.
I can
So
fill it up pretty quick now, especially like making slightly bigger pots.
yeah,
Fill up pretty quickly. So usually, like each level, I have one or two big pots, and then fill the sides with like smaller
nice. Yeah, I've actually been making mame pots just to
ones.
fill the spaces.
Yes.
Like, I wasn't making them at first because I'm like, ain't nobody gonna get a tree this small.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, but they fit all around this one. So like,
It's a great use of, yeah,
yeah,
great use of
definitely.
space.
So
And
my
it's like,
living room is also a pottery studio, so I feel you
awesome.
there. Yeah. We don't even have a living room anymore. I kind of think of it as like, people who like they own like a little coffee shop or pottery studio and then they live in a tiny little flat above it.
Yep.
That's kind of how mine is, only I live next to it. Like all the bedrooms are like across the hall and then this whole living area is the studio.
Yeah, I'd say I'm pretty much the same. At any given time, there's a project going on in any room
Yeah.
besides like my bedroom. So definitely the same. Yeah, my
Yeah,
kitchen is like,
exactly.
the plant project area
Yes.
usually.
That's awesome. What are your favorite kind of plants?
That's a tough one.
I'm sorry.
I mean, as far as like houseplants go, um, definitely alocasia,
Mm.
philodendron. I really like just tons of varieties. I
Nice.
try to collect as many varieties as I can.
You got the leafy boys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a crazy person. Um, but otherwise, I mean, I really like junipers and Japanese white pines are
Oh, that's
probably
pretty.
my favorite. Like,
Nice. I like them, but they don't like me. It's a
yeah,
struggle. I think it's the heat. It gets so hot down here that like
yeah,
when
that's
it's
true.
108 degrees for like 4 weeks straight and they have to be outside, they're like, ugh, they struggle. Like I usually
Yeah,
lose them in the summer. Like it just feels like there's no amount of watering, and then I think they're fine, and then they'll just be like brown, and I'm like,
mhm.
why?
I live by the coast, so I don't have I have like really hot summer heats, but I don't really have to deal with that staggering heat. But I've heard that shade cloth can really do like tons of wonders for, especially even conifers, like keeping them under even just a little bit of shade cloth in that heat, and then just a few other ways to keep the heat down. It's possible. Don't give up.
It's a lot of work.
I know.
I'll get to it eventually. It's just a hurdle to overcome
Yeah,
for me.
definitely.
But it's so hard whenever I just have a Brazilian rain tree out there in the sun, just like I love it.
Yeah.
Like you just water,
Right.
I just water it like twice, and it just does not care. And I'm like, at some point, I'm just like, I like to work with the plants that like to work with me.
Yeah, that's true.
So what's a day in your studio, or maybe not a day, but like what's like start to finish like the pot process for you for like a batch of like a kiln load?
Uh, so usually so for like the making the ovals or like rectangles, I'll usually throw or roll out slabs. So I'll throw the walls for the ovals, and I'll roll out a bunch of slabs, and then I'll wrap those up, set them aside, and let those dry out for like a day or two, and then I'll make a bunch of circles
Mm-hmm.
and cactus pots and whatever else.
The void fill.
Yeah, the void fill exactly. And then I let those set up for a day, and then usually the next time I go at it, or like in the evenings when I get home from work, I'll finish up like putting heat on the circles, and then like shaping the ovals, and the next day I'll like finish up the ovals and probably start on a few more.
Yeah, and you just cycle around.
Yep.
Nice. So how big are you making them? When
Um,
your biggest ones?
biggest ones are in the 20-inch range.
How that's awesome.
Yeah, so
I'm
the
stuck at
biggest
12.
26. Yeah, 12's a really nice. 12's a really good size though.
Oh, I mean, I'm stuck there. Like, anytime I get bigger, I end up with cracking until I figure my life
Yeah,
out.
I was there for a little while, and I even now I still have to. It's like twice the effort past 12. Like when I first started, I was doing like 12s, like maybe a 14 or 16
Mhm.
here and there. If I was like, everything just worked out perfectly,
Yeah.
but now it's like 12s I can just do, but anything bigger I have to like baby
Yeah.
as it's drying, as I'm shaping it, and it's still, I'd say, I'm not, it's not a 100% success rate.
Oh, yeah. It's ceramics. Like,
Yeah,
no one's judging you for failure. I've got a huge
yeah,
pile of failure right next to the kiln shed. Like, when I
right,
unload the kiln, I pull it out, I'm like, cracked, it goes in the pile, and I know a lot of people smash it, but I keep looking at it, and there's something in me that's like, how big can this pile get? Like,
yeah. I really like failure sometimes if it makes it through to the glaze firing and then fails. Then I just get a pot for myself that I don't have to
yeah,
worry about like, oh, can I sell this or anything? I'm just like, oh, I can put a tree in this.
that's exactly what I do. I always joke on my social media feed. I'm like, this is for my chipped and dinged and cracked collection because I took it to Cone 6, so it's mine now. And
Yep.
I'm losing most things in my bisque firing, and I'm like 90% sure that it's just I'm not drying slow enough, and so I'm just trying to find new ways to dry slow without warping. It's
Yep.
just magic. I know what I need to do, but so far actually making that happen hasn't happened. Maybe by the time this like comes out, I'll have it.
I definitely have the same issue with drying um, too quickly. I tried
Mhm.
to make a new clay mix that can dry out a little quicker because my house seems to be quite dry.
Mhm.
So things seem to dry out a lot quicker and a lot less even than I would like.
Yeah. It's hard in the summer for me, really, especially because
Yeah.
like it's a billion degrees outside, and then inside the air conditioner is running with all of its little heart, and that's pulling all the water out in the condenser, so
Yep.
it's super dry, and then it's also blowing all this dry air everywhere,
Exactly.
and then I've just got to figure out how to cover things well enough to try this. Yeah,
Right.
we'll get to it. So you make clay, or are you mixing all your clay?
Yeah, I try to mix my own clay.
Jealous.
That way I have a little more control over
Mm-hmm.
things. Um, I've also found that the bought clay just doesn't really It just doesn't do it for me. I like
That's
to
fair.
add a little bit of color to my clay sometimes. So I have 3 different batches that I'm like trying out right now, that are all basically the same clay body, but 3 different colors.
That's cool. Are you adding stains, R oxides, or how are you
Yeah,
coloring?
yeah, stains.
Stains. Sweet. That's a lot. I love that though. I like to make the on my YouTube channel. I get like 100 pounds of clay from anywhere, and I like
Mm,
to make a whole series with it and to look at like what I kind of like, and all the stuff that I do experiments with goes into my reclaim.
yep.
So my reclaim is like the greatest Frankenstein clay ever. It's like speckled and red and black and white, and like it's all cone six with around the same absorption, so I
Yeah.
don't sweat it too much. But it always comes out so nice. And like I always said that if I had the space where I could just make my own clay, I would aim for a body that was like red brown, not like super bright like brick red, but not like that dark B3 black, like red brown with like big is it magnesium or manganese? The one that's correct for making speckles. Big
Yeah.
speckles. I mix those two up
I
because
know,
they're
me
close
too.
together. But the speckles and like big speckles, not the tiny little Laguna speckled
Yeah,
bluff
yeah,
speckles.
yeah.
I want fat speckles
I
and
feel
like
that.
red brown clay, and that would be ideal for me. And sometimes I get that with my reclaim, and I'm just like, yes.
Yeah, right.
But I
Happy
don't
little.
have like. Do you pug it? Like, do you have a pug mill and everything?
No, I sometimes I can use a clay mixer, but primarily I'll mix it into a slop, and then I have a massive. It's really a boot tray that I filled with plaster, and
Mm-hmm.
I fill that with the slop, and I can dry out like
God, so
50
you have to
pounds.
wedge the holy biscuits out of that.
Yeah,
Ugh, my arms pray for you.
I don't have to pay for a gym membership, so that's good.
That's true. That's fair. Yeah. Oh man. That's a lot of wedging. That's the only thing I don't like about reclaim. Like every time I get it out the block from the store, I'm like, at least I can just wedge it like 5 times, make sure it doesn't fart, and it's good. Like,
Yeah,
love
do my
that.
best. So that would be my main thing, or my main goal is to get the space and money for a clay mixer, which I
That, hey, you'll get
like.
there.
Yeah,
You'll get
eventually.
there. By the time, like next year, this time, you'll be like at least halfway there if you're not already there. You got this.
Well, I hope so.
No, you got this. You just gotta manifest it. Just say you're gonna do it, and then every day wake up and be like, "What do I need to do that?" And then there's, you got this. I'm here
I
like
like that.
recording a podcast. It's crazy.
Yeah. You never know
You
where
can
life is
totally do it. So how does your clay body influence your work? Like, is it it's part of creating the style and the aesthetic and the appeal, and it seems like it's are you glazing at all, or is it just the body work is kind of your main
Yeah,
it's
so I definitely try to make the clay body attractive enough on its own, so I don't
oh
have
yeah.
to glaze it and rely on like covering any imperfections or like, anything like that with glaze. I still glaze sometimes, but I prefer unglazed. So I really like the quality of the clay. But beyond that, there's every clay body has its limitations, so that definitely influences my work
Mm-hmm.
to a degree in regards to like the shapes that I can make or how big I can make them sometimes.
Does your clay like to fall? Is it like, or is it short sometimes, or
Uh, I'm still trying to figure this one out a little bit. I just made it the other day, so it seems a little inconsistent still. So I'm still trying to figure it out.
all right, you'll get it. I
Yeah,
don't have the answers for you because I have never made clay, so you're already ahead of me on that. That's for sure. That's cool though. It's cool that you're mixing your own clay bodies. I like that.
it's just like
Everyone's
making.
got their thing. Everyone's doing a weird thing in their studio, and they think it's not that weird. But like, how many people are not mixing their own clays? Like,
Yeah,
so that's pretty sweet. That sets you apart for sure.
that is true. Yeah. I mean, I like to experiment, and I do like small batches enough that I don't need to buy like a pallet of clay at a time. Although I'm sure I'll get to a point where mixing clay will be too strenuous, and I'll want to just have a palette of it.
Maybe, or maybe you'll just charge so much that you'll get compensated for the strain of mixing the clay.
That's true.
There's two paths there, you know. Like you can just increase the price for the value as you grow, or you can produce more and stay at the value that you're at.
That's
totally up to you, but you got two choices, so you know you're worth it. Sometimes you just gotta price it up and be like, you know what, this is hard, and I'm worth it.
I feel like I do have a problem with pricing my own
We
stuff.
all have a problem with pricing. Don't feel bad.
I know.
All of us, everybody,
anyone
who looks confident, we're lying.
Yeah.
We price it up and we're like, I'm really sorry it costs that many.
I know.
I have to live.
Look at this other guy. He's charging that much. Like.
Yeah. But I also don't do the comparative thing because
I know I try not to.
Some people do not value themselves, and then some people have been working at it for so long that I'm not their target market because I'm an artist. But like they've been working at it for so long that they do have the market, and like the price is what the people will pay for it. And if you are that valuable and people are willing to give you that, then don't undervalue yourself. You know, if they're paying it, then you're worth it. And you know, your whole body of work is limited to your lifetime. And I mean, you're young and spry right now, but like every artist's work is going to be limited to their lifetime. So it's limited what you're going to be able to put out in the world. So anybody who gets a piece of you and of your work, you know, there's a lot of value to that. There's only one you.
So you're saying it's priceless? It
kind of is, but we live in an economy, a society. So we do have to put some kind of price on it. I'm just saying, you can be worth whatever you're worth. You just gotta, you know, make it happen.
Yeah, definitely.
So when you're making your pots, are you envisioning plants for them? Like while you're making them? Are you like, this is definitely black pine energy? Or do you leave it up to the other person?
Yeah, I try to leave it up to the other person. Like I said, I try to just like listen to the clay. I know that kind of sounds
No, you don't sound crazy to me, I promise.
But yeah, I feel like if I think too much about it, I'll just be disappointed in the end.
Yes.
So if I just leave it to whatever happens, then I can only be, you know, satisfied or surprised.
I think that's a good way to be. I feel really similar. You know, you just it's an acceptance. I think it's a practice in mindfulness and patience and acceptance, and all of those things are kind of hard to do because they require letting go of at least a little bit of control.
Oh,
yeah. Acceptance is always a release of control because you just take what is and you're like, all right, I'm okay with this.
Yeah. And that is something I've always struggled with a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, that's understandable. All of those things are human struggles, you know, like acceptance and then pricing is self-confidence, and like every human on some level is experiencing those things to some degree in some place in their life. I mean, we're not all artists trying to sell our work, but to some extent, we're all like, am I good enough? And
we're all trying
am I doing enough? Yeah. Everybody's just doing their best, except the people who aren't doing their best. But we don't talk about them. Right. We just hope that they figure it out. Oh, so what goals do you have going forward with your ceramic practice? Are you trying to make it a full-time gig or just express your art as an outlet, or?
I would say one big goal I have is to be selling my pots at not this year's National Expo, but the next.
Nice. That's a good goal.
Yeah.
I hope you guys get it. And you don't have to worry about me, because unless somebody's going to fly me out there, that is too far away, and I've got too many trees and dogs.
No, you can make it sometime.
Maybe. This year I was asking people, they were like, are you coming to Nationals? And I'm like, I am the poor. I'm going to be at home with my pots and my dogs. But I love that for you guys. And you'll make it. Also, I'm a little introverted. Those kind of events kind of intimidate me. It's something I'll work on. But
yeah, I'm definitely, I can relate. This is definitely me stepping out of my comfort zone a little bit.
Me too.
So we'll see how it goes. But I am going to the show this year, so this will be my first like big expo.
Cool. What show is that?
The National Bonsai Exposition in Rochester.
Oh, and the one. So you're not exhibiting though? You're just gonna.
No, I'm just going.
Okay. Yeah, that's sweet. Yeah, everyone tried to get me to go to that too, and I don't. That's not a thing I can do. But I would.
Yeah.
If they host it in Dallas, I will be there.
Do they have any big shows out in Dallas?
Probably. I'm not super educated on it, but probably. Dallas has its own bonsai club, and I know we're doing an international one in Houston that I am going to try to go to.
Oh, awesome.
It's like
yeah.
Bonsai on the Bayou or something that they're hosting
cool.
It'll be spring of 2024. I don't know when this is going to actually come out for the real people. But, well, it'll be on my Patreon pretty early, but as far as like being scheduled for public release, I don't know if that's gonna be happened or not.
I'll be on the lookout.
But yeah, that'll be cool. And I mean, I did email them and ask them if I could sell there because I have the audacity to do that. I will send an email and be like, "Hey, I'm really cool, and I know I'm not invited, but can I come?"
You might as well try.
I've got pots.
Yeah.
And they're like the Texas Club is hosting it, so I was just like, "Hey, I'm Texas."
Yeah.
Like, I'm intuitively working, and this is my surroundings, so I'm sure that my pieces are very Texan.
Definitely,
so,
yeah. They should love that.
But I also my pieces are like, when I say I make bonsai pots with all caps, so like I'm real colorful. So I understand that a lot of people are just like, oh, I don't know, man, your pot shouldn't be that loud. And I'm like, look, it's the Texas energy. I can't help you. It's loud down here. It's loud, hot. It's loud
for
people.
Everyone too.
Yeah. Well, it is for everyone, and I think that they'd be real cool with tropicals. Like if you want to stay traditional, but you want to like use my pots, tropical people, I'm here. But if you want to get real weird, y'all weird people are my favorite people. Take them and do weird stuff. I love
That's
that.
always the best. I love that too.
And I love the idea of going to nationals too, but also there's a part of me that's just accepted like if I'm gonna make the work that resonates with me, and if that work isn't something that the people at nationals want at nationals, I'm still going to make the work that I'm gonna make, and that's okay because like there's enough cool people who are just like I have cool trees in my backyard and they like my pots, and I'm here for them.
Yep, I definitely agree. Yeah, I try not to compromise too much. I've done like a few commissions, and even then, like I'm always tempted to just be like, pretty much pick like closest to what you want out of the pots that I make, and then we'll go from there. Like,
yeah,
I'm not gonna make something that looks like someone else's pot because that's not what I make.
Exactly. And I find this a lot, this perspective that me and you and I share this feeling here. But I feel that people who are working on a more intuitive, on the intuitive side of the spectrum are more like this. Like we're more likely to say, I don't want your commission because I want to do what I want to do, and you don't understand the process. It doesn't really work like that. Whereas the technical people are like, give me your commission. I'll draw it out. It'll be exactly 3.86 inches. Like, it'll be perfect. And like I love those people, and I'm trying to like connect. I need to connect the people who want their special pots with the people who want to make their special pots, so that us intuitive people can do our weird stuff over here for the people who are just here for our energy.
Definitely, yeah.
So, but do you want to be open to commissions? We can go ahead and throw that out there.
Yeah, for sure. I do love doing commissions, mostly because usually when people commission a pot, they have a tree in mind or ready for it. So greater chance that I get to see a nice tree going to my pot.
With commissions, do you like to have, what level of freedom do you like to have in it? Do you like it like when they're like, it needs to be this size? Is that all cool with you? Or are you more like, let me see the tree and you get what I think you need?
I definitely like size requirements. I don't like too much freedom because then I'm always like second guessing or worrying about,
it's a little anxious.
Oh, is this what they're expecting, or like, is this going to work for them? So I like a little bit of freedom, but not too
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you don't want to be so constricted that like you feel like you can't achieve it, but also
Right,
you don't want to be so free that you don't have a direction to go in.
right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like point me in the direction and then let me.
Yeah, like a snowball to roll. Like,
Yeah.
here's a snowball. Go roll this down the hill and make a snowman.
Yeah.
Nice. Very cool. So, what advice would you have for someone who was looking to get started in ceramics?
That's a tough one. Definitely, I would say find your local studio and take a class. Um, Possibly community colleges can do that. I'm not sure. I would assume
No,
so.
I took my classes at a community college.
Yeah,
It was a great resource for me here locally.
yeah, absolutely. They have the facilities, they have the instructors, and they have the community to, bounce ideas off of and learn together and grow together. So that's always great. I definitely would recommend doing that before, buying a wheel and just trying it out.
That's like what I did. I did all the things you're not supposed to do. Thankfully, it worked out. But he's right.
No, yeah, it can just be. I'd say it's just a lot more stressful trying to do it on
Yeah, it's yeah. I think everyone's different. I'm one of them people who's like, I'm doing it. There. So like I like have that grit, but I also know that everyone's not me. So
your own. Yeah,
definitely a community is a good situation for most people.
I will
For
say
sure.
if I had more direction in high school, like if I, was gonna go to college for science or something like that, I probably would have just eventually bought a wheel and
Hmm.
just started from the ground up at some
Did you feel like your college ceramic education was like, well, I know it was valuable, but how valuable do you feel it was overall? Like, would you say people should pursue that path, or when is that a good choice versus
point.
not necessary?
That is a tough one. I do. I feel like I do get asked this kind of often, and I struggle to answer it. I think that it depends what you're looking for,
Hmm.
and it depends on what the school is offering. I'd say the most I got out of UConn was the facilities that they had,
Hmm.
the access that I had to those facilities, the materials, um, the tools, and the community that was there. I wouldn't say they had like necessarily the best educational program for
Yeah,
ceramics.
understandable.
Um, and I wouldn't necessarily say that I learned as much as I could have or as much as other people learn in other programs. And I'm not like saying my teachers were bad at all. Like I loved every single ceramics professor that I had, but I feel like I definitely could have learned.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think it just depends on what you're looking for and what the school is offering.
That's very well said. I think it's very important to come up with your goals because as a ceramic artist, there are so many different goals that you could have. Like you could want to go to nationals. That's a great goal. Or you could want to be successfully selling online with a cult following. You know, that's
Mm-hmm.
me. It's my goal.
I mean, that is another goal of mine for sure.
Yeah, like I need a cult follow. Who wants to join my cult
Right,
following?
just TikTok and reels all
Yes.
day.
God, it's so I can't even make a pot without making a video of it now. I'm just like, here's a pot.
I struggle to make videos. I tried when I first got started. All my friends were like, "Oh, you should make TikToks. Like they'll go viral." And I was like, "Okay, yeah." I think I made like three, and then I was like, "This is
No,
not."
I don't like the kind of videos where you hold the camera in front of your face and you're like,
Oh,
I'm gonna
definitely.
tell you what I think today. I'm like, oh, can't. I
Yeah.
did like two and I was like, this is not me. I cannot do this. So now
I
I'm
can't
just
talk
like,
to no one. Like I can't
Yeah,
just
it's
do
too weird.
it.
I mean, I talk to no one all the time. I do
Well,
YouTube videos, but
for
there's
sure.
something about the short form video that's super weird for me.
Yeah.
It just feels silly. I mean, and then people are. I don't try to hate on anybody, but to me, for me to do it, it makes me feel silly. I'm like, I don't know who cares, but
Yeah.
I'm talking now. And it's just kind of weird for me.
It's
So
just
I switched over to just I just take a video of the pot and then I go to Spotify and I'm like, what am I listening to this
Mhm.
week? And I stick that on there and I'm like, y'all are gonna have great art and weird music that I like, and you're gonna like that or not. And that's what we got.
Yep.
It's been fine. I'm with you though. Like my expectations are like whatever. Like how much
Yeah.
energy do I have to give to
Yep.
worrying about all of this nonsense? Like it's just like
Yeah, that's the other it's just another thing to worry about. Like,
yeah.
is this getting enough views? Is this edited well enough?
Yeah.
Is this the right song that goes over it? I'm so particular about like every little aspect of
Yeah.
everything that I do that everything just turns into a headache.
Yes, you gotta do some more of that acceptance and let go.
Yep.
You gotta move some of that over into the social media realm. You've already got it. You just gotta disperse it around a little bit.
I'm working on it.
I feel ever since I just said to heck with it to all of the social media stuff. I mean, I'm still producing, but I don't think about it as much anymore, and it's felt a lot better. So
Yeah.
I hope you can feel really good about it soon and be like, yeah, posting this, it's gonna be great. Everybody's gonna love it because I feel like it translates over.
I hope so too.
You will. We got this. You're doing a podcast. You're here. You're in it. You're in the
Yeah.
sauce. This
First
is the podcast
podcast.
sauce. I know, me too. Well, this isn't the first episode I've recorded, but I just thought about it for so long, and I was like, I want to talk to people,
Yeah.
so I'm just gonna message some people.
It's also just great to be able to connect with people all around the country. Not just we could DM and talk about our pots, but that's so different.
Yeah, things get lost.
Yeah, for sure.
And you find more about people's energy when you talk to them. Because I feel like the way that I come off, if you're just looking at my content without listening to me talk, I feel like my work and myself come off a little guarded because I don't overshare in words. I'm like, this is a pot. I threw it on the wheel. It's blue. That's it. That's the whole caption. I'm not one of them people who's going to write you 4 paragraphs of today I was in my studio and a bird flew by and I thought that was really cool, so I put a bird on this pot and it's the exact same blue as it's been. I'm like, I don't have time. But I love to I'm more than just the pot is blue, but at the same time, I'm just I don't have time for all that. So this is really cool because I'm like, how can I get people to know everybody? We all can know each other a little better. I listen to a lot of podcasts too, and I hear interviews with different potters and artists of all kinds, and I'm like, these experiences are great.
Yeah.
Everyone's experience, even if I don't relate to it at all, it's just great to hear how many different ways there are to make it and to be an artist out there, and I want to bring more of those to the forefront.
Definitely. I love hearing people's backstories, how they got into pottery. All of it. So
it's
so
cool. We're all superheroes, and this is our origin stories.
I love
Tell me your
that,
pottery origin story. Was it a vat of eels? Did you fall into a pug mill?
Actually, I think I do have a potter origin story. I like to tell people.
Oh, nice. Tell me.
Where one specific memory that I can pinpoint that I attribute to my obsession of pottery and working with clay. So when I was a kid, me, my brother, and my cousins, we would all meet at my grandma's house, and we would just play around in the backyard. Under her porch was just mud, just muck and mud, but it was very clayey. It was very malleable. So we would, being kids, we would just make stuff out of it. We would pretend we were in a restaurant and make burgers. And I just loved playing in the mud and sculpting things with the mud. And I think that really is my first kind of sculptural or ceramic experience. And, the start of that obsession.
My earliest memory was, it wasn't it wasn't like good ceramic clay, but
Oh yeah,
my
for sure.
grandma used to buy me this stuff that was called, I think it was called, I don't remember what it was called, but it was made by Crayola and it was like foam clay.
I
And
remember
it
that. Yeah.
was super soft and it air dried fluffy like
Hmm.
a foam. And like you could stick it together and she would get me all these packets of it and like I would just make all of our dogs and cats. Like I would sculpt all of our pets, like, and they
That's
were,
so
I
cool.
mean, they were good. I thought, I mean, they weren't as good as, an adult version, but
I'm
for
sure
my
they're
age,
amazing.
they were really good. And like, I remember sculpting like that. And now I sculpt, and my sculptures, I don't know if you've seen them, but I like to sculpt kind of whimsical kind of stuff,
Yeah.
different dragon type creatures. And when I sculpt, I just squeeze the clay. Like I could sculpt without looking because for
Oh yeah.
me it's all a feeling. Like I grab a hunk of clay and then I just start squeezing it and moving it with my fingers until it's a dragon and like
Just
it's
intuitive. Yeah.
yeah. But that's it too. 'Cause someone's like, "Well, teach me," and I'm like, "Well, grab the clay and make a dragon." I don't know. I'm a horrible teacher. I'm just here to
I'm.
talk to people.
I cannot teach people how to uh, make a sculpture or row on the wheel.
Yeah.
I'm just like, just do it.
Just
Like, you
feel it. Do you not
yeah,
feel the energy? Connect with that.
you just like, just keep touching it until you like get it.
I can't get it center. Have you tried centering it?
Yeah. I think I actually told someone that one.
Oh, I know. I'm picking up on these differences here between the technical people also make the great teachers. Like the
Yes.
super technical people are here for your weird, strange, specific commissions, and they can teach you how to throw a pot usually.
Yep.
Us intuitive people, we're here to move things into new and strange avenues that
Yep.
may be unexpected, because the technical people don't always do that as much.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like technical people don't experiment as much.
As much. They do, but
Yeah,
it's a
for
different
sure.
kind of experimentation and I'm not saying either. I want to be clear. No way is better than the other. We need
Right.
both ways to make everything happen. It's just interesting to me to see the different kinds of brains, ways, and methods, and it's cool. Very
Yeah, I
cool.
think it's so cool. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, was there anything that you had wished that I had asked you, or do you want a chance to speak on anything that's important to you, or do you have any questions for me?
Particularly. Yeah, no, I'm pretty
Hey, that's
excited.
cool. I'm here for it. Nice. So, tell the people who are listening, all those blessed people, everything about where they're going to find you online, how they can buy your work. Keep in mind that this may be kind of not timed well, so if you're going to be selling next Tuesday, that's probably not going to be
Yeah.
helpful. But like, just generally, for the long
Um,
haul, where can people find you?
just a quick shameless plug. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so easiest place to find me is on Instagram at jas.pots. Um, all my links are in there, but my website is www.nolaughter.com, which also leads to everything else. But for my current day job, I actually just started working full time for Bonsai Bar, which
Ooh.
is it's kind of like those paint and sip nights where you
Yeah.
drink some wine and paint a picture, but we teach basic bonsai classes at breweries. We're all over like Boston, basically New England and New York right now, but trying to
Awesome.
expand. And I'm trying to get like an American production line of bonsai pots made for those classes. So working on those. So bonsaibar.com will have some of my pots eventually, probably coming up pretty soon. We're expanding their online store too. And yeah, so those two places, and also I do have some pots at New England Bonsai Gardens in Massachusetts. So that's another one. So yeah, a few different places, but Instagram is probably the easiest way to reach me.
That's it. That's where our generation is. We're
Yeah,
on Instagram.
yeah.
And sometimes we put our toes in TikTok just to say hi to the kids.
Just to say hi.
Yeah, thank
No,
you
thank
so
you.
much for joining me, Josh. It was really great having you on and learning more about your process and your vibe. And you've got some really amazing work, and everybody's going to go check it out and sell you out this week, and then you're going to be stressed out for a little bit and have to make a ton of pots.
I will say I am. Yeah, I don't know when this is airing, but I am like pretty out of pots right now. I just mixed a new batch of clay and did the test firing of them.
Yeah. Oh, sweet. Those are dope.
But I'll probably be releasing those like early September, around the time of the show. But after that, I'll be, making stuff a little more regularly until I run out of clay.
Well, people who are on my Patreon are going to get early access to. They're going to get the whole season, the whole show at once.
Okay, cool.
So that's patreon.com/bluenosestrading for anybody who's listening and wants to listen to everything all at once. But then all the regular people who aren't on the Patreon are going to get it like as a TV show once a month throughout next year. Cool. So it's going to be like, just go check his website out, guys. It's nolaughter.com. I can't tell you what's going to be on there while you're listening, but go look at it.
Something will be
Look
there.
at it. All right. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you so much. It was so nice to meet you.
You too. This podcast is brought to you by Blue Nose Trading, which is me and all my patrons. You can get early access to unreleased podcast episodes and YouTube videos by becoming a patron of my work at patreon.com/bluenosetrading. You can find all my current available ceramic work on my website, bluenosetrading.com. Supporting my Patreon and buying my pottery helps me keep making this amazing content for you guys. For social media links and information about today's interviewed artist, be sure to check out the show notes. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. Remember that you have great ideas that are worth exploration, drink lots of water, and I will see y'all next time around.